Right, if you're brand new to silver stacking in the UK, this video could save you a lot of money. Because when you first get into silver, it's very easy to buy the stuff that looks exciting, that looks rare, or just looks like it should be worth a lot more money. But the big question's this: when it comes time to sell, will anybody else pay you back what you paid for it? And that's the part a lot of new stackers just forget or don't even think about. They think about buying the silver, they think about building the stack, they think about owning the silver, but they don't think about the exit plan. And in my opinion, this is where a lot of mistakes can happen. So in this video, I'm going to quickly run through 4 or 5 types of silver I'd avoid if you're a brand new stacker in the UK. Now, just to be clear, I'm not telling you to never buy these things that I'm going to describe. I'm just telling you, when you're first starting out and you're stacking for weight and you want to do it in the most affordable way, these things are the worst thing you can buy. The first type of silver I'd avoid as a beginner is these slabbed modern bullion. In America, you'll see slabbed American eagles, but over in the UK, I suppose the closest example we have is the silver Britannia. And you'll see these modern 1 ounce bullion Britannias in slabs with like MS69, MS70 gradings. They'll be like I don't know, it could be like a first release or a first strike, some special privy mark, some limited thing. And no, of course, don't get me wrong, grading's absolutely got its place. If you're dealing with a proper numismatic coin, a rare coin and a historic coin, where the condition massively affects the value, then yes, grading makes complete sense. But on these modern bullion Britannias, for me personally, it's quite different. A 1 ounce silver Britannia is mainly bought because it's a trusted 1 ounce silver coin. It's weight. It's a stacker's coin. It's made by the Royal Mint. It's recognisable. It's pretty much easy to understand for a beginner. 3/9 fine silver, and everyone knows it, and that's its value. The value's not really because it's been locked in a plastic slab with a fancy label. What you got to think about with these type of things, when you come to sell a modern slab coin, are you really going to get paid much more for the slab? Maybe a private collector sale, but you have to find the right person. If you take it to a bullion dealer or you want to sell it quickly, a lot of buyers are just going to look at it and go, well, it's just an ounce of bullion silver. They're not going to pay you a massive premium just because it's in a slab and just because it's an MS70 Britannia. And this is sometimes where beginners can get caught. They'll pay a big premium for a slab Britannia because it looks official, it looks protected, it looks rare. And to them, it feels like it must be special. But modern Britannias, they're not rare. They're just bullion coins. So in my view, it'd be simple. Before you pay extra for a slab, ask yourself a question. Who's going to pay me extra, the money back when I come to sell? If you don't know the answer, be very, very careful. For a beginner UK stacker, I'd rather keep it simple with just normal bullion coins out in the air than pay extra for bits of plastic and labels and a lot of hype. Now, number 2 is premium silver, or this is tricky to describe. Almost, some people might call it semi-numismatic silver. So the coins, but the more pretty designs, the more really that type of thing. Now, it's really tricky because this is where silver gets a lot of fun. You're thinking about the Royal Mint series, say the Tudor Beasts or the Queen's Beasts, Myths and Legends, that sort of thing, the Perth Mint, the Kookaburra date runs. So the coins, but the more modern releases, and there is a lot more premium on those than your standard Brits. And if I'm honest, some of them are absolutely beautiful. They really are. This is the type of silver that keeps you wanting to buy. It's at first you start with the Britannias, you go, oh, I'll stack some Britannias, and then you start to get a little bit bored, and you'll see all these cool designs. You'll see a coin with a Viking on, or Maid Marian, Robin Hood, or some sort of beast, and you think, oh man, I've got to have them. And before you know it, you're down that rabbit hole and you're collecting high premium semi-numismatic coins. But stacking and collecting aren't the same thing. If you're stacking for weight, that's exactly what you're doing. You want the most weight for the cheapest money, and this approach isn't the way to do that. If you are collecting, well, that's brilliant. Your goal is to get lots of different interesting coins that you really like. or pieces of bullion or bars, fill your boots. And I'm so much a collector at heart. I really am. I think it's really important you should buy bits of silver that you love and you enjoy looking at. But when you're first starting, I think just to get you going, just understand the fundamentals first, and then you can learn about the premium and you can learn about how that affects your overall stack moving forward. Because you might, in some cases, pay £10 or £15 on top of the premium already on some of these designs when you compare it to the Silver Britannia. And when you come to sell it, if you haven't got no exit strategy, if you just go to a dealer, they're just going to give you a standard price for an ounce. They're not going to care that it's a Queen's Beast or it's Maid Marian or what have you. It's just an ounce of silver. Now, if you try and sell it privately, and that's part of your exit plan via, I don't know, a Discord server such as Stacker Social, where there's a cool little marketplace. It's a great little community, one of the fastest growing on the internet. I'll pop a link below in the description. Then, yeah, you might be able to get out of the premium and get your money back. And in some cases, you might make a little bit, but that's the exit strategy you've got to have. If you're collecting because you love the designs, love the coins, and don't worry about the money you're going to lose when you come to sell if you go to a dealer. But if your goal is weight, when you're starting off, have that firmly in your mind and just remember that, because that's the goal. At the exit strategy, you want the weight of the silver, the intrinsic value to be worth more than you paid for it. And these type of designs don't do that for you. So next up, I want to talk about rare or niche or just odd silver items. Now, this stuff might look absolutely amazing. It might be really scarce and it might look a good deal, but it has a very small pool of buyers, really. It could be, I don't know, some unusual, some sort of overseas bullion, some strange mint products, some obscure limited editions. And the buyers for this type of stuff is a very small area. Now, I say this as someone who makes silver art, as you know. I love unusual silver. I love it being created. I love it as artworks. But I wouldn't really recommend it to the beginning stacker. Should you buy a piece of my Silverpunk artwork if you're weight stacking? Absolutely not, because it's not going to get you to where you want to be. But should you buy a piece if you're a collector? In my view, I think you should. If you're into art and you're looking for something really cool and unusual and a one of one, then yes, of course. But for the beginner stacker who's stacking weight, looking for the future, then no. Basically, liquidity matters. A 1 ounce Silver Britannia is going to be, it's easy to understand. A 1 ounce, say a 1 kilo bar is easy to understand. A tub of standard bullion in a tube, easy to understand. But when you start delving into the silver art and these very little niche areas of the silver pouring and even minting, some of the minted stuff, you've got to bear in mind that rare doesn't always mean it's liquid and it can be sold quickly. Rare doesn't mean it's going to go up in value. Rare doesn't mean it's anything important. It just means it's not a lot of them. And also something to bear in mind, some of the minted products, they'll say only a mintage of 20,000, only a mintage of 10,000, only a mintage of 5,000. Well, just think about it. That's quite big numbers. Even a mintage, say, of 50, there's still 50 of them. You know, if you're going down that road, you just want a mintage of one, don't you? You just want one of one if you're looking at it that way. On paper, it may look like this is really rare. Sometimes just because it's rare means there's not many buyers, and that's a big lesson to beginner stackers. So as a beginner, you don't want to get stuck with something that you can't sell easily. So just be cautious with niche silver and understand the market. Because once you've been around for a while, you'll get to know which hand-poured silver items will sell, which artists can command the highest prices, and who's the silver pourers you need to be on the lookout for. But at the start, simple is usually a lot better, and that's your Britannias and your standard bullion pieces which don't hold high premiums. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the big silver bars. Now, these look so cool, and for me, this is what gets me. I love the look of traditional silver bars. There's just something about it in my mind. I always go back to the Italian Job, the film at the end, when the big pallet of gold bars are just sliding down the coach, and it's like, guys, I've got an idea. I just love it. I love a bar, be it gold or silver. It's brilliant, but and that's what makes them tempting, of course. A 1 kilo bar, 100 ounce bar, sometimes even better. They look really good. not only do they look cool, they also have lower premiums, because obviously the more you buy in one go, the less the premium. And for some people, that makes mega sense. But the trouble is, when you're a new stacker, a new weight stacker, you look at the premium and think, oh, that's the cheapest, the lowest premium I can find. But the trouble is, again, it's the exit strategy, like we touched on a bit earlier. You've got to think, where am I going to sell these? If you sell it back to a dealer, they're only going to give you around spot again. You're not going to make much profit unless the silver price really goes up. If you need to liquidate quickly after buying it, buying one, something's come up. Say you need £200 or £300 and you've just bought a 1 kilo bar. Well, you've got to sell the whole bar. You can't be chunking a bit off it. So you've got to bear that in mind. You kind of lose flexibility with your stacking. So for me, I'd keep it smaller until you're further on in your journey and you can understand. Then you've got almost like a bank of different things. You've got the 1 ounces, you've got the 5 ounces, you've got the 10 ounce bars, and then over here you've got the kilo or even the 100 ounce. But when you're first starting off, think, what happens if I need to sell? Have it liquid so you can sell. It's a lot easier to sell 3 or 4 1 ounces than it is a 10 ounce bar. So, but bear that in mind when you're looking at big bars, because let's be honest, stacking for weight isn't just about buying silver. It's about what options it gives you later when you come to get out of it and you want your money out. So let me know in the comments, do you think that's a good beginner strategy, or is there something that you'd add? Or is there any mistakes that you've made when you've been weight stacking? I'd love to hear it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.